What's up, guys? We're talking about Naruto Storm Generations today. We're going to do a review of it. Naruto is one of my favorite animes out there. It came out, I think, roughly when I was 12, and I first seen it when I was 15. I've been watching it ever since. Now, I'm 24 now, and it's been going on for a long time. I watched it so long, I got to see it to the end. And here's my review of Naruto Storm Generations and what's wrong with it, and what's the good things about it also. When you first start up Naruto and you go into versus mode or even the online mode, and you select your character, you see a huge roster after you get everybody unlocked, and it has a huge amount of characters, but quite a few of them are just clone characters, just different jutsus. Most of them just have the same moves as the other previous version. You also have 15 support only characters. These characters can only be used during the gameplay. You can't play as them. You basically just spam them during the gameplay. Another problem with the game is the loading time is quite long. That's something that they did not fix or improve on Storm 2. Something they changed in the gameplay is the kunais. You can no longer just hit the same button over and over and spam them, but they're still spamming kunais, and it's a problem they need to fix. Substitutions are immediately different compared to Storm 2. You no longer have an infinite amount of them depending on your chakra. Now you have only 4. Over time they'll increase, but once you run out, you're immediately at a disadvantage. You have absolutely hardly anything you can really do other than just try to run away and use jutsus until you get your sub come back. The more damage you take, you're meant to get some more back. Now in Storm Generations, just like in Storm 2, there are these modes called Awakening during a fight. Now, they haven't really been changed. A few characters got nerfed in terms of awakenings, like Deidara and Itachi, but they're very unique. Now, there are some characters, are just not so unique at all. Another good thing about awakenings is that you can no longer grab somebody during them, or use an actual ultimate jutsu, which is also present during the original Storm 2 as well. Now, Team Ultimate Jutsus, just like in Storm 2, are really overpowered, and it was said that they were going to be nerfed, but I really just can't see it. It was supposed to give you a lot more time to hit them, but when someone has Ultimate Bar ready, full team support, be very careful because it's hard to evade it. Another thing that's pretty cool is your team support can actually block an ultimate jutsu. It can be helpful, and sometimes it's not helpful at all. The game may lag at certain times, but it's most noticeable during Susanoo. The story mode is very simple in this game, and it's not really as great as the Storm 2 or even Storm 1. Most times it's just an animation video at the very beginning or at the end of the actual story mode. But throughout the entire gameplay, it's mostly just going to be just a slideshow. It's also going to be narrated by the third Hokage. In my opinion, the story mode is very boring compared to Storm 2, even Storm 1. It's just something very quick. The main important thing about this game was to improve on the gameplay. The story mode is very simple. As you play through it, you go through these battles, and it's nothing more just versus mode battles. It'll get very repetitive and old, especially you already played most of the shit from Storm 1. There are so many Naruto games out there. You done played through these very first chapters of when he was young, or even when he's older. Another improvement is the actual versus mode. You got survival and tournament, and even a training mode. Just like all the Naruto games out there are collectibles, and some give you a stat bonus, but most of the time they're just useless shit you won't never really even need. Another improvement is the online. You have a lot more choices now for regular battle, survival, and even tournament. They even have a new option called custom battle. This allows you to actually use custom weapons you have for the D-pad, depending on what you have unlocked through the collectible section. Another cool thing about the game is online lobbies. You can now talk to other players, view their stats, and pretty much just have a better communicated experience. Now, online fighting is actually just generally the same. I will admit the connection seems to be a bit better, but man, it depends on the players. Sometimes you'll win, sometimes you'll lose. You also come across some new cheap strategies in the game itself over time you will also notice. Another thing you often notice is player lag. Sometimes an attack will look like it should hit somebody and it didn't. But normally it will hit somebody on versus mode offline. This is a problem you have with a lot of online games in general. Something you can't really fix about it. But it will get annoying at certain times. And just like any online game, you will come across assholes pretty much. They will get mad because they lose a match. Sometimes they'll beat you, but whenever you do beat them, they will get mad. So normally, what do you always do? Just retaliate. Just spam some shit back at them too. You know, most of the time the game will be very fun, but it will get ruined. You actually get very annoyed. Like this battle here, I fought this guy about 5 times. I beat him about 3 times and he beat me twice. Now the last time he finally beats me, he just gets mad and rage quits. Storm Generations is an okay game. It's not as good as I was hoping it to be when it came out. You know, I did buy the Japanese version, which, you know, put me at a total about roughly $90-something, the shipping charges. You know, I was very excited with the game, and it was a waste of my money, to be honest. As you seen earlier a while ago at the end of that video, this guy recuperating. He beat me once, you know, and then I beat him 3 times in a row. And during the times I beat him, he called me a spammer and some other shit, you know. And then he eventually beats me again, you know. The last time he just rage quits and leaves, you know, and replies to me. He says it gets better, and so I just sent him a fucking friend request, you know. If you want to troll somebody, I can troll him back too, I guess, you know. It's an okay game. It comes down to it. You'll end up finding yourself spamming grabs when somebody you know, is blocking constantly. The only way to get around somebody's block is just to grab them or constantly, you know, beat them until their guard breaks. A lot of people will get mad because you use the same moves over and over and over, but you only have one move to use. You know, you can only use one jutsu, and then you have combo attacks. Certain characters are not good at comboing. The game is not very balanced. Some characters will have a huge disadvantage compared to others.
Naruto Shippuden, well, this game, they said they were going to focus more on the fighting style of it. I was disappointed by it, but it's still a good game. The gameplay is a little bit better, but it's just the gameplay did not get as good as I thought it was going to be, since they were going to be focusing more on the fighting aspect of the game.
Yeah, they wanted to try to make it a lot more complex by adding a sub bar, which is a good thing in my opinion. The chakra canceling is not a good thing. It allowed it to get very broken. You had no way to defending yourself, you know. But you had to pretty much, you know, be very careful in using your subs. But there are certain times, depending on some characters, where you might end up using the sub and you might end up subbing 2 or 3 times in a row. As I was saying, it was major balancing problem with certain characters. Certain characters had a huge advantage. You know, like Hedon, you know, you could not get away from his move. You know, you had to sub him, right? And you wouldn't sub away from him. You'll sub and you're in the exact same spot where you just last sub. It's very annoying. The game's okay. I give it a 3 out of 5.
I give it a 3 out of 5 too. Gameplay's a little bit better, but yeah, that's what I wanted to be.
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed. I was kind of disappointed, to be honest. I knew the story mode was gonna be shit, you know, from what they told me, and doesn't really justify it. You know, the game felt more like an expansion pack. It does not justify a $64 price tag when it first came out, and it is not. It just, the game get very repetitive. The only people who are probably still playing this game are just Naruto fans, pretty much, you know. Well, I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Help us get around YouTube if you like our videos. See you guys later.